Imagine an eternal night, one of those where dreams and fears mix under the same roof. The camera pans across a modest room, with worn furniture and dim candles fighting the darkness. A couple shares the same thick silence. He is made of desire and waiting, she of need and unfulfilled dreams. Even before Rapunzel was born, there was a void, the emptiness of lives that want to be complete, of hearts that want to blossom, of the womb that awaits a miracle, small and immense at the same time. This void is a hidden character, the secret engine of everything that is to come. There, desire appears not only as a whim, it is the raw force of life demanding passage. If you've ever wanted something so deeply it hurt, this is your story. Because Rapunzel is, above all, the saga of those who pay dearly for wanting too much, and then have to figure out how to survive the price of their own dream. As the woman watches through the window, her neighbor's forbidden garden glows even at night. Mysterious plants, radishes, vibrant leaves, promises of fulfillment grow on the other side of the wall. The more the pregnancy progresses, the more she feels the deep, almost animal call that only unconscious desire knows. At dinner, she chews in silence. Nothing satisfies her. Her husband watches, somewhere between sad and helpless, realizing that no amount of joint effort will be enough. But desire doesn't ask for permission. It simply exists, fierce and urgent. On a sleepless night, the man decides he will do the impossible. He stealthily climbs out the window, climbs the wall covered in branches, smells the strong scent of the plants, his hands trembling as he picks the forbidden radishes. The pleasure of returning home, the sparkle in his wife's eyes, the taste that finally appeases his hunger, it all seems to make the risk worth it. But every hidden desire comes at a price. How many times have you had to compromise, cheat, or go beyond your limits to satisfy someone, or yourself? How far would you go to feed a need that grows from the inside out? The repetition of the transgressive gesture, each night pierced by fear, creates a tension that soon explodes. At a certain point, when he believes he has mastered the secret, the husband is surprised in the garden by the figure he feared most, the witch. She is neither ugly nor grotesque. She is the mystery of the dark feminine, the one who holds the power of the garden, of gestation, of the sacred and the forbidden. The tense dialogue follows. Why do you steal my garden? My wife only wants that. You will pay dearly for every stolen leaf, for every unconfessed desire. The woman, who only wanted to nourish her womb, unknowingly lost much more than she could imagine. A pact is sealed. The witch demands the unborn daughter. And here the story plunges into an inescapable destiny. Behind every fulfilled wish, there is always a promise of renunciation. Have you ever noticed how certain requests, when answered, change the course of an entire life? What did you give up, consciously or not, to achieve something that only seemed like happiness? On the morning of her birth, as the couple cradles their daughter with tears and hope, a cold omen hangs over the crib. The cycle of desire and loss closes, and Rapunzel, before she even realizes it, is marked as someone who will always be the fruit of an impossible love, of an ambiguous dream, of a debt she never asked to inherit. She doesn't even speak yet. She's already a prisoner. She doesn't even walk yet. She already walks between the bars of gift and price, just like all of us, condemned to seek that which can also imprison us. And so ends the first great cycle of Rapunzel, where desire not only plants hope, but also structures the walls of the tower that sooner or later we all have to face. Rapunzel, the tower, growth and enclosure. Time passes. Rapunzel's childhood is marked by a care that never feels like freedom, by a protection that always feels like confinement. The camera follows years of childhood discoveries, but always within four walls, improvised toys, windows that open only upwards, never to the horizon. The witch, a figure who is a mix of mother and jailer, watches every step. She nurtures Rapunzel with the possessive love of someone who fears loss. Symbolically, it represents the dark side of motherhood, the cycle of control, the need to mold the other to avoid one's own abandonment. The tower rises not only in stones and height, but in every rule, in every fear, in every denied dream. No tall tower Rapunzel grows. The hair grows long, a biological mark that reveals time and vital power, but it also becomes the rope that connects the young woman to the outside world, always by the witch's will, never by her own. On calm mornings, Rapunzel looks out her only window, seeing distant forests, listening to the wind, imagining stories about the world she will never know. The narration of the days alternates. Sometimes there is hope, solitary games, music invented with simple objects. Sometimes there is tiredness from waiting, pain from not being able to choose, fear of never being seen. Have you ever felt trapped in a space that you call protection, but which for you is a limitation? How many times has caring for others, however well-intentioned, turned into emotional claustrophobia, blocking dreams, talents, and even your own voice? Years pass. The witch, noticing the beauty and brilliance of her tower daughter, further reinforces the confinement. You're not ready for the world, Rapunzel. It's safe here. In the witch's tone, we hear the echo of every adult who, out of fear or pain, restricts the growth of the young person, whether in the family, school, society, or in the psyche. Rapunzel's hair, a Jungian symbol of soul energy, grows until it almost touches the ground outside the window. It represents unlived power, hidden desire, beauty that cannot be shown to anyone. And no tower singing. Rapunzel sings. His voice echoes in the void. For her, music is a language of survival. Each note is an invisible bridge between the desire to leave and the need to stay. Have you ever tried to turn your own confinement into poetry? What art, talent, or dream did you use to survive a time when you couldn't choose the course of your days? The repetition of days reveals a cycle. Rapunzel tosses her braids for the witch to raise and lower, a routine that mixes obedience and rebellion, care and dependence. For many, this scene triggers memories of oppressive family relationships, rigid schools, dehumanizing jobs, or even internal psychological prisons. Self-demandingness, perfectionism, old traumas. At the window, Rapunzel knows desire but not action. He knows stories told by the witch but never the adventure itself. Their world is vertical, never horizontal, elevated but never free. On a stormy night, the wind brings distant sounds, voices that aren't part of the walls, rumors that there's life beyond the rules. And that's when the journey begins to change. The song, the meeting and the awakening. In the silent hours of the afternoon while the witch is away, Rapunzel sings. His verses are invented melodies, laments and dreams condensed into notes that pass through the window pane, reach birds and leaves, cross layers of the collective unconscious. She doesn't just sing to distract herself, she sings to survive. Her song is a plea to the universe. Someone needs to hear her, someone beyond the walls, someone beyond the cycle of obedience and isolation. Further on, in a kingdom he cannot even imagine, a prince is searching for meaning. He rides through the forest, guided by the unusual sound that hangs in the air. It is not fairy music. It is not the voice of royalty. It is real singing, marked by the pain, hope, and power of the imprisoned soul. The prince stops in the shadow of the tower. He spends days listening to the same melody, intrigued, until he witnesses a mysterious scene. The witch calls Rapunzel. The young girl throws her braids. The dark figure rises like a shadow into the home. Curious and determined, the prince decides to try. It hides among the trees, waits for the right moment, and finally approaches. "Rapunzel! Rapunzel! Let me down your braids!" Rapunzel's surprise is instantaneous. He never imagined that anyone other than the witch would utter such words. He climbs with effort, finds a young woman marked by beauty and time, a purity that is not innocence but resistance. On a first date, there is silence, tension, fear, and a genuine urgency for connection. Rapunzel doesn't know if she should trust, but she senses that there lies a lost chance to see the world, to achieve everything that could never be experienced. The prince sees Rapunzel as someone who, despite isolation, keeps the flame of life intact. She, in turn, realizes that he doesn't want to control her, but to free her, or at least open a door to possibilities previously ignored. When in your life has someone come in unexpectedly and changed your routine? What unexpected bond made you rethink who you really were and who you could become? How did you react to the first touch of hope coming from outside your own cycle of limits? The conversations between Rapunzel and the prince start out shy, but soon evolve into deep exchanges. She tells secrets, makes plans, shares forbidden dreams. It reveals the outside world, describes landscapes, customs, possibilities. The connection grows. The prince brings strips of silk. Rapunzel builds ropes. Each knot is a prayer, each meter a promise. This is where awakening begins. By trusting someone who is not part of the oppressive system, Rapunzel discovers that her power goes beyond her hair and voice. It lies in the courage to desire and act. Sometimes your awakening depends on a simple gesture, the willingness to trust, to try, to do things differently. When did you have the courage to take someone new's hand and transform your own world? Rapunzel and the prince agree. Little by little, as the ropes are ready, she will descend and discover the world of the forest, of life without walls. With each step, Rapunzel distances herself from childhood, from prison, from dependence, from the witch's voice that said, "You are only safe here inside." The song, previously a plea for help, becomes a celebration, a portent of freedom. And so ends the third part, where the power of desire meets the possibility of action, and the cycle begins to break. The discovery, the cut, and the exile. The cycle of desire and action, of the awakening that breaks the silence, does not go unnoticed by those in control. The witch, attentive to the changes in Rapunzel's routine, notices subtle changes. The sparkle in her eyes, the hope in her gestures, the air of someone already planning futures outside the tower. At the height of the escape plan, everything is revealed. The witch finds the pieces of silk, Rapunzel's eyes wandering away, the momentary absence of submission. In a fit of rage, overcome by fear of losing the object of her dominion, the witch prepares her revenge. With sharp scissors, he approaches Rapunzel. "You dared to desire more than I allowed. The world will never be yours." The cut is a symbolic castration ritual. The hair, once a bridge to freedom, is ripped out. Each strand on the floor is a promise of denied life, crushed power, nameless pain. Rapunzel cries, feels the weight of loss. Hair is more than appearance, it is identity, vital energy, sensuality, autonomy. Without it, she believes she cannot be seen, desired, recognized, or freed. The witch is not satisfied with that. He decides to exile Rapunzel to the desert, an archetypal space of desolation, symbolic death, the absence of everything that once sustained the young girl. The tower is now complete solitude, an arid landscape, a pathless ground. Meanwhile, the prince, deceived by the cut braids now in the hands of the witch, goes upstairs thinking he will find love, but finds despair. The witch reveals the truth, casts the curse, and the prince is pushed, falling onto thorns that blind his eyes. Two exiles open up. Rapunzel, isolated and pregnant, must survive on her own resources, maturing in pain. The blind prince wanders aimlessly through the forest, guided only by the memory of the song. What experiences in life have forced you to grow through pain? What losses, cuts, or exiles made you rediscover hidden powers, new readings of yourself? Exile is not just defeat, it is a mandatory space for reconstruction. Rapunzel learns to take care of herself, to feed her children, to find strength where before there was only dependence on the tower. In the silence of the desert, another version of the young woman is born, resilient, introspective, capable of transforming wounds into a source of life for herself and her children. The scar that marks you today, have you realized that it also builds you? That the desert can be a space of hope, learning, reconnection with inner values never before experienced? The prince, guided by the sound of his heart and the memory of Rapunzel, learns another kind of vision, the inner vision of feeling, of dreaming, far beyond the physical gaze. Cloistered, Rapunzel faces deep fears of never being loved, of no longer having value, of your children inheriting only sorrows. But little by little he discovers that the power to heal and create comes not from what he has lost, but from what has survived within him. And then, tired of waiting, she starts singing again. The meeting, the tears and the healing. In Exile, Rapunzel discovers a new way of existing. No public beauty, no tower, no approval. You must now reinvent your own dignity. Every day is a challenge. She seeks what little is left of nature, learns to feed her children, talks to her own fears. Here there are no walls to protect it, nor to prevent it from maturing. Meanwhile, the prince, blind, wounded, guided only by the memory of the song, traverses forests, mountains, cliffs, always in search of Rapunzel. The sound that once saved your spirit is now a compass, an invisible thread that guides the soul. Prince's internal micro-dialogue. True love does not need eyes to recognize what is essential. I follow the voice that remains within me, even without being sure of the path. Rapunzel's internal micro-dialogue. Will anyone ever see me beyond my past? My song now does not ask for help. It is an attempt to make myself heard again by myself. One day the impossible happens. The prince, tired, hurt, hears the distant singing. He walks toward lost hope, and Rapunzel senses something different in the wind, an ancient call among souls who know how to wait. The reunion scene is pure catharsis. Rapunzel runs to meet the prince, not just out of desire, but as if she were rediscovering an essential part of herself that she had abandoned. She embraces her beloved. He, blind, touches her face, recognizes the scent, hears the sound, and knows exactly where he is. He cries for the first time since the fall, tears of longing, love, rebirth. Rapunzel also cries, dissolving years of fear and suffering into genuine affection. Tears stream down the prince's face, wash his wounds, and like a miracle his sight returns. Here healing isn't just magic. It's the power of affection, vulnerability, acceptance of mistakes, and rediscovery. How many reunions in your life were catalyzed by crying? Have you ever healed someone, or been healed, simply by touching, by listening, by confessing what you really felt? Together, the prince and Rapunzel gather their children and leave the desert. Now they are truly free, not just from the tower or the witch, but from the internal social and psychological limits that once imprisoned them. In the end, Rapunzel discovers that her strength wasn't just in her hair, her beauty, or her singing. It lay in her ability to survive, to reinvent herself after loss, and to allow love, when finally freed from its shackles, to perform for her the miracle that no external power could ever guarantee. This isn't just the end of a story. It's an invitation to see the magic hidden in the details of your own life. Rapunzel is, in fact, the great myth of awakening. From desire to trauma, from confinement to freedom, from cutting to healing. Each character carries an archetype from Jungian psychology. Tower-like. It's not just a physical prison. It's a symbol of the walls we build within ourselves, of the beliefs, educational standards, and social norms that limit us. And the bruxism represents dark control, parents, society, fears that try to decide our fate. The hair reveals vital force, sexual energy, autonomy, and feminine identity. When cut, it opens space for rebirth. The prince-it is the animus, the masculine power that awakens to the outside world, to the desire to transcend and build. The desert-it is a place of pain, loss, solitary growth, like every process of individuation. The tears transform suffering into healing. They are the power of affection, of reunion, of the embrace that restores meaning. In the end, the story proposes that true freedom arises from reconnecting with oneself, accepting one's own vulnerability, dialoguing with one's wounds, and having the courage to reinvent oneself after trauma. Rapunzel is the one who discovers, There is no witch who can defeat someone who survives the desert and sings to transform pain into strength. She learns that real value lies not in hair, beauty, or obedience, but in inner growth and the willingness to use one's voice, even in the midst of silence and fear. And you? What is your tower today? What cut transformed you? And what desert have you had to cross? What in you needs to cry to heal? And finally see the path back home with new eyes. The story's invitation is, find your place again, allow tears to wash away your traumas, and let love, true, renewed, bring your inner vision to life. If this video touched your heart, subscribe to the channel now. Share this with someone who needs to get out of their tower or cry to see again. Leave us a comment. What was the biggest arrest of your life? What pain or what reunion gave you back the strength to move forward? Here we are together to unravel stories, myths, and scars, always with psychology, reflection, and hope. Activate the bell to receive more stories that transform reality into healing and inspiration. Until the next video, where each story is an opportunity to reconnect with yourself and the world.